All right, let's dive into the high-stakes, super high-tech race to build the battery of the future. And this isn't just about your phone, you know? The winner of this showdown is going to define the entire next generation of electric cars. Just picture this for a second. You pull into a charging station, and in the time it takes you to run in and grab a coffee, your car has added over 500 miles of range. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, it's not. That's the actual prize these companies are racing for, a breakthrough that would make range anxiety totally a thing of the past. But, getting there is incredibly hard. At the very heart of this race is what engineers call the "and" problem. See, it's one thing to make a battery with tons of energy, or one that charges super fast, or one that's cheap. The real holy grail is making a single battery that does all three of those things at the same time.
Now, before we look at the challengers, we have to understand the champion. And right now, in the world of EVs, Tesla isn't just another car company. They are the benchmark. Every single new technology gets measured against what Tesla has already pulled off in terms of performance and price.
So let's look at the stats that define the current gold standard. A typical Tesla battery pack. It weighs a hefty 480 kilograms. That is a lot of weight to be dragging around. It gets you about 350 miles of range, but then you're looking at a 30 to 60-minute wait to get back up to 80%. And if you have to replace it, oof, that's a $13,000 to $16,000 bill. These are the numbers to beat. But really, all of those numbers boil down to one magic number: $100 per kilowatt hour. This is the cost that makes an EV affordable for, the rest of us. Any new tech, I don't care how amazing it is, has to hit or beat this price to have a real shot. So remember this number, it's everything.
Okay, so with that benchmark set, two major contenders have really pulled ahead of the pack. And what's fascinating is that they each have a completely different technology and a totally different strategy for how they're going to win this thing.
So in one corner, you've got Amprius. They're using this wild silicon nanowire technology that lets them cram way more energy into the battery. Their whole strategy is about elite performance, right now for markets like aviation and defense where, frankly, cost isn't the biggest issue. Then in the other corner, you have QuantumScape. They're all about solid-state batteries, replacing the flammable liquid inside with a solid ceramic layer. The promise there is more safety and way faster charging. And they're playing the long game, aiming for the mass market with a huge partnership with Volkswagen.
So who's actually closer to getting these things into cars? Well, the timeline here shows Amprius has a serious head start. They're already selling smaller cells, and their big factory is set to open in 2025. That puts them years ahead in terms of getting something out the door. QuantumScape, on the other hand, is playing a longer game. They're looking at pilot production in 2026 and really aiming for mass-market cars around 2028. So yeah, Amprius gets to market first, but QuantumScape is building for a much, much bigger scale. Okay, let's talk performance. This chart is all about energy density. Basically, how much power you can pack into a kilogram of battery. And whoa, just look at that gap. Amprius isn't just a little better. At 500 watt-hours per kilogram, they are packing almost double the energy of a Tesla battery. QuantumScape shows a nice improvement for sure, but Amprius is in a whole different league. And believe it or not, the story gets even crazier when you look at charging speed. That 30 to 60-minute wait for a Tesla, QuantumScape just demolishes that, getting it down to about 12 minutes. But Amprius, less than 6 minutes. 6 minutes to get to an 80% charge. This is a complete game changer. It solves one of the single biggest headaches for every EV owner out there.
So those numbers are pretty mind-blowing, but what do they actually mean for a car? Let's make this real. What would happen if we could take a standard Tesla Model 3 and just swap its battery pack with one from our two contenders? With an Amprius pack, the results are just staggering. A Tesla that normally gets around 350 miles of range could suddenly go almost 600 miles on one charge. That's like driving from LA to San Francisco and pretty much all the way back.
But it's not just about range. The Amprius pack would weigh only 160 kilograms, compared to the stock pack's 480. I mean, shedding over 300 kilos, that's like kicking 4 adults out of the car. It would totally transform the car's handling, its acceleration, and its overall efficiency.
So, what's the catch? Yeah, there's a catch. And it is a big one, an $80,000 one. At today's prices, that amazing Amprius pack would cost more than twice as much as the car itself. So we're talking elite performance with a very, very elite price tag.
So what about the QuantumScape upgrade? Well, this is the more balanced play. Your range gets a really healthy boost, somewhere between 400 and 500 miles. But as you can see, the real headline here is that charge time. Cutting that 30 to 60-minute wait down to just 12 minutes, that is a huge improvement in range and a totally revolutionary leap in convenience.
So we've got two incredible technologies on two very different paths. Who actually wins this thing? And maybe more importantly, what does all of this mean for the car that you might be driving in just a few years?
You know, in the end, it all comes back to cost. Tesla set that floor at the crucial $100 per kilowatt-hour mark, and the roadmap from here really shows two different ways to get there. QuantumScape is on the mass market path. They're aiming to hit that price by 2028 by using their clever design and Volkswagen's massive scale. Amprius is on the premium path, staying in the world of supercars and aviation until they can scale up and bring costs down, which probably won't be until after 2030.
So our final scorecard shows that there really isn't one single winner here. Amprius absolutely wins on pure performance and for being closest to production, at least for those high-end uses. But QuantumScape is set up to win the long-term race for the cheapest next-gen battery for the average person. And for right now, well, Tesla still holds the crown for what's actually affordable today.
So the key takeaway is really this. If you need the absolute best performance, the highest range, the lowest weight, and money is no object, Amprius is the undisputed leader. But for the rest of us, if you're looking for an affordable, next-gen EV that you can actually go out and buy, QuantumScape's path with Volkswagen is the one you want to be watching.
And that really leaves us with a final question for you. These two technologies, they represent two very different futures for the electric car. One is a future of ultra-light, super long-range supercars with just insane performance. The other is an affordable revolution that brings next-gen charging and range to everybody. So the question is, which future will you be driving?